Yesterday I set out to take the test knife that I had been working on, and I played it up and I put it in the fire, heated it up to proper heat, and put it in the water quench, and a lot of things happened, and some good, not so good, but overall it was a surprisingly good day, and so I'll show you how. Stay tuned. Okay, I'm going to make my clay mixture of equal parts clay, charcoal dust, and stone dust. This in a separate container. Two of these. Two charcoal. Two stone dust. Two spoonfuls of clay. Some water. Mix it really well. This should be laid on evenly at first. Thick along the back. Yeah, you can hear my black cat out there looking for trouble. the other side. Okay, well, my fire's getting going. I'm gonna have some coffee and just quickly discuss the clay mixture that I whooped up, which again is clay, stone powder, and charcoal dust. And the clay provides the cohesiveness, the stickiness to hold everything together. And the stone dust prevents it from heat expansion, or the cracking from heat expansion. And the charcoal keeps everything from flaking apart in the fire. That's how it's supposed to work theoretically. And I used to do a clay mixture of clay, sand, and charcoal. But this probably shouldn't be too much different. Again, I did thick on the back edge and thin along the blade edge, and so we'll see if this causes the knife to curve or not. Mainly, I'll be happy if it just doesn't warp in the wrong way, and that it has a nice temper line afterwards. But we'll see on that. There's actually a good link online for the 1-to-1-to-1 clay, stone dust, and charcoal mixture. It goes in depth more than just the clay mixture. It does the whole quench, and it discusses all that in a much better way than I am. So I'll try to remember to put a link in the description for that, because it's pretty good. So I'm gonna see how my fire's going, and coffee, yes. Okay, I'm going to put this in with the back down. Let it heat up gradually and carefully. The goal is to heat it up evenly. And being that it's thicker on the back, we have that down so that we don't burn out the blade by accident. Well, my coffee's barely warm. Oh. So I count this as a failure because it did warp, and it warped sideways. So I I forgot to put down a board and clamp, so I put it on the anvil, and it chipped there, and it chipped up here. So I threw it back on the sander, and you know, and I didn't get all the warp out, so I couldn't even sand, you know, enough to get a proper flat surface. It's like it's just off enough where there's like a rougher patch there, and so this is not a this is not a success as far as the knife goes. But behind every failure is an opportunity to learn, and I know that this had issues that my sword does not, so it shouldn't have the same problem, because this okay, I just did a basic steel jacket around iron, but on one side, as I was sanding, the iron looked like it was starting to show through a little bit. It just the color was a little different, and it was a little smudgy. So I think the iron was showing through more on one side, and that's probably why it warped sideways. And so my sword won't have that issue. But as far as the temper line goes, I saw it when I pulled it out. When I put it on the sander, not so much. Now, because this is a test knife, we can play around with it, test the edge, and not cry if it breaks, chips, something like that. So we're going to test it first on my bamboo pointer, my chopstick. All right. All right, that worked pretty good. Now we're going to test it on a piece of copper wire. We'll zoom in on this. All right, let's try it again. Okay, well that went into two pieces. All right, so for the last test, this isn't going to cut all the way through, but we're going to see how the blade holds up after this. This is a piece of steel bolt, cheap steel bolt. Okay, do one more. Okay, it cut into it. I'll try to get a picture of that. And I do not see, I do not see that it did anything at all to that blade. Okay, so since I chopped through my chopstick pointer, I'll use my fireplace poker as a pointer. So again, I chopped through the bamboo chopstick. I cut into several times and then successfully chopped through some copper wire, solid copper wire, and I twice cut into a remnant of a steel bolt. And the blade edge only sharpened on the sander, really. So it hasn't even gone to the stone or anything. That is unmarred, and that surprised me. But evidently the clay quench worked. I saw a temper line when I pulled it out, and when I, the clay took the clay off it and everything, but I did not see that after I put it on the sander, so I don't know, if etching it will bring it back or anything like that. I guess we'll see it. I don't think it should bring it back, but we'll see. With some polishing, maybe I'll see it some more. If I even want to polish it. I mean, it's like it's a failure of a knife, but I would say because the edge held up against cutting the copper and the steel, I'd call this a successful failure. Well, screwed that one up, didn't I? But you know what? Where there's a will, there is a way. Well, I won't go into all the details of what I did to make Stubby, but suffice it to say that it is now quite a different knife. Well, later in the afternoon, we took Stubby the Mini Tanto across the road over to Jack's, where we had fire and beer, and the Bronzecaster was there, so we did some further testing. Well, how do you think that went? Well, let's go see. Here's the Mini Tanto. Well, thanks for watching. I just want to pause and say that I stand with Ukraine. People really don't deserve what they got going on right now, and I hope that they get a much better deal going forward. I don't know what else to say about that. It's just it really sucks for them, and I'm very, very deeply sorry for them. So anyhow, again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side of the week. Be well, be good.
Leroy Jenkins!